Hello, and welcome to another episode of Walk the Dog Cinema. We are closing in on summer here. It is a warm day. We're trying to get our walk in before the cement gets way too hot to where we can't. So just up and about, nice blue skies, no clouds in sight. It's actually a very pretty blue on most levels. Kind of against the foothills, it's a little bit hazy, but otherwise beautiful warm morning. And we are going to talk about the 1953 Walt Disney Rob Roy, the Highland Rogue, another forgotten little gem that Disney produced over at the Elms Tree Studios in London, where money got tied up in because of World War II. And this is the last one. This is the fourth live action, but the last one he did in London at the Elms Tree. After this is kind of the one that really cemented 20,000 Leagues, and I'll be checking that one out down the line. But yeah, Rob Roy, the Highland Rogue, is it's an interesting movie. It uses the same actor as Robin Hood, and the last one, Sword in the Rose. And as a matter of fact, the leading lady from Mary Poppins, the mom for Mary Poppins, is in this one, and plays his wife. And again, he does a great job at playing Rob Roy. It's quite interesting when you watch this, because there's a lot of Braveheart to this movie. So it's almost like Mel Gibson watched this film and then built up the spectacle even more. But it literally follows the beats for the most part of this movie. I haven't seen the Liam Neeson one in a long time. I just remember the awesome sword fight at the end for the most part. But to say it's kind of a travesty you can't get these movies cleaned up or on DVD in any way, shape, or form. Sword in the Rose, this one. There's quite a few in the 50s that Disney's kind of forsaken and forgotten, that I'm going to be hitting upon. You can still get them somewhat digitally, but they're not cleaned up or anything. They're just kind of standard definition on Amazon Prime and some other places. But it's really a shame that Disney kind of does that, because it's a charming movie. It has some great rousing action. It's very much Disney. It has the great Technicolor colors that kind of pop. If this was cleaned up, I mean, it would be just a beautiful film to look at. And the tone and everything, how it was done, is very 50s Disney. It just kind of comes off the screen in such a way. It's very rousing, exciting at times, but then cute romance, done with a lot of good qualities. It's kind of interesting. They have a death in the movie that is somewhat poignant, and the last words we hear are about God and his resurrection and how he saves your life. So it's there's a lot of interesting elements to that, and that kind of takes center in the sense of what happens afterwards in the movie. So it's rather interesting. We don't see any of the players. We just see beautiful kind of pastoral outlook with one character on the screen, and then off screen we hear Rob Roy say those lines. And it is it's a rather fascinating movie in that regard. So Rob Roy, the Highland Rogue. Again, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I wouldn't say there's like a ton to talk about. The performances are good. If you've watched any 50s Disney, even in the 60s, you know what you're kind of getting. It's only an hour and 22 minutes. It moves right along. There's a couple great action sequences. There's a nice siege in this. And besides maybe the shields come off a little fake looking, and you can kind of maybe tell the swords are a little like fake on a certain level. You get past those little tidbits, like I said, the movie's fun. The action sequences are handled with great clarity and excitement, and the score kind of amplifies that. It's a nice, tight, neat package, and you could really see what Disney really was doing. Obviously, Pierce was the producer. He produced all these. And I don't know how closely he worked with Disney. I couldn't really find, but, like I said, the studio at the time kind of had that blueprint with all that. And it's quite interesting to see it all kind of flesh out and come together. And it's really a great piece of cinema. And it's, like I said, again, too bad that Disney doesn't really start getting into their backlog and promoting it. I get it. These are kind of unknown films that got relegated, but back in the day, they were, I wouldn't say unpopular. So it's kind of a shame. I actually, growing up, who really watched a lot of Disney, didn't even know about these films, and then discovering them at my age now, I think it's wonderful. It's kind of like these hidden little gems and a piece of Americana and just kind of all this stuff, even though these movies are very British in that regard. But it's interesting how Disney always kind of took different cultures. He really had a thing for the Brits, doing a lot of their stories, or the Scottish. But, just the high tales and the fantasy throughout the world, and he really kind of Disney-fied it, gave it its kind of American sensibilities and things like that. But the movie very much stays within those parameters, like great Scottish costumes that we would think of. Everyone has a really kind of thickish Scottish accent for the most part, but it's a wonderful film. Like, these are movies that I could watch later on. Like, they put a smile on your face and you just kind of go, wow, that's kind of good. So it's too bad, like I said, Disney doesn't purport these as well, but that's that. So it's too bad, but at the same time, check it out. I can't say much more than that about it. Rob Roy, The Highland Rogue by Walt Disney is a fantastic little movie. So check it out. Have a good one, everyone.